Here we are, Aramingo Avenue, Port Richmond, Bridesburg, on the border of. I'm at the McDonald's. People are getting their dinner on a Thursday night. Look at all the wishies. That's what we call these things, wishies. And you take them out and you pluck one, right? And you make a wish. Yoma! He's walking Rick the puppy. We're doing a little walk. And I figured what we'll do is to kind of be like the greatest hits. I'm going to walk Aramingo Avenue. What are you doing? No, you're pissing? Okay. We're going to do Aramingo Avenue. I'm going to talk about every job I had on this avenue. I'm also going to give reviews of the stores and why I either shop at them or don't shop at them. And we'll also play Count the Jerk-Offs, which is a game where, like you see this guy here, he's going to run the red light, which is kind of dumb because there's like a red light camera here. Let's see. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe not. I thought because he took such a big lead. So yeah, we're gonna play a game called Count the Jerk-Offs, where we're gonna count people running red lights, blasting music. It's gonna be, quite honestly, it might be the best day of your life. Come on, cuz. Where am I, in Florida? This light's taking forever. Yeah, this intersection here at Castor and Aramingo. Red light cameras. Don't ever run the red light. Starting off with a job. Used to be a Hess gas station right here. It was like a one-person booth. I think this is one of the... I've had over 60 jobs in my lifetime. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I got a little bite of the autism, just a little pinch. And I don't like working with people. And if I feel like I'm being mistreated, or if a boss did me wrong, I can't work there anymore. So I quit. Or if a job gets real boring, I quit. This job, I got fired for throwing a keg party in the... I had like a little booth, and my buddy brought over a beer bubble, and he brought over a beer bubble, which is like a mini keg. It's like 2 cases of beer. We drank all the beer. We had ourselves a good time. Yeah, I got fired. That's all right. All right. This is Burger King. Out of all the fast food restaurants in the area, the one I will go to, I will go to this Burger King. I boycotted this KFC. Oh God, I think before Cheryl was even in my life, and I've been with Cheryl for a decade. And I don't go to this KFC. Taco Bell, and I'd much rather, I don't want to do that. I'll go to Wendy's sometimes. I'll go inside Wendy's. Sometimes the line's a little too long for the drive-thru. All right, this is fun. Oh, across the street, you got a Mattress Firm. I didn't work for Mattress Firm, but I worked for Mattress Giant. I did that for about 6 months, and that was a boring job. You could make $500 a day if you're in a good location. Like if you're at the King of Prussia Mattress Firm, I'm sure that salesperson makes much larger commission than the Mattress Firm guy at Aramingo Ave. But you sit there all day, and some days you're lucky if you see 2 people. There were sometimes I didn't have anybody come in. And you can't sleep. That's the hardest thing. You got to stay awake. That was the toughest thing. One day I walked past one of these banks. I think it was the bank across the street. And I remember when I was leaving the bank, the security guard, he was smoking a jazz cigarette. He was smoking an L to the head, as the kids say on social media, right out front of the front door. And I was like, man, the world we live in today, like, you know, I remember people used to hide it in the backyard. But, yeah, bank security guard smoking a jazz cigarette. One of the not coolest things. One of the more interesting things. Yeah, I guess it's cool. It depends. Very close to 420. Right, Snoop Dogg? Oh, you're not Snoop Dogg. You're Rick the Puppy. Let's see. What do we got back here? America's Kids. That used to be a hardware store called Channels. Ooh, I don't know. I'm not good with cars, but I think you may need new brakes. Didn't work at Dunkin' Donuts. Across the street, yeah, there was a pizza place called the Italian Kitchen or the Italian Oven. I worked there for a week. Got fired for making crank phone calls. I worked at the Toys R Us. I worked at Toys R Us in two aspects. I worked for Toys R Us, the company. Horrible. Oh, we're dead, Rick the Puppy. A horrible company to work for. When I worked there, it was like 2012. And their whole thing was slashing payroll to make profits. And it was like the beginning of the end of the Toys R Us company. It was horrible. It was horrible. And before I worked for Toys R Us, I worked for a toy company called Spin Master. And they make toys like Bakugan, Airhog helicopters. They made Mighty Beans. They had the game Stratego for a little bit. And I was never him. Used to catch shoplifters. Oh, that was fun. Okay, where are we going? It's a different day and age. I was a video store manager in 2020. Oh, no, 2020. Jesus God. 2000. I was a video store manager for Hollywood Video. Did that for 4 years. Besides YouTubing, it's probably my favorite job ever in my life. And my store got robbed at gunpoint. And then the company accused me of robbing the store. I remembered I got accused of robbing the store because I was on vacation when the store got robbed, and the employees called me. You know, just even though I was on vacation, they weren't courteous. They called me. And I was home, so I drove up to the store. So they made me a suspect. Horrible, Rick the Puppy. I was like, how dare you? Don't you know who I am? Let's see. Burlington Coat Factory's okay. I don't go to that CVS. They have all of their sodas are like locked up. And you gotta like ring a doorbell to get somebody to come unlock the sodas. And not just like the Red Bulls. Like some places do that. They have the Red Bulls behind the counter. Because you'll have a lot of people steal the Red Bulls. And they'll either sell it on the L or just walk around here and they'll try to sell it. It's one of the tough things about owning a business. Right here is Shoppers World. Surprisingly, not a lot of jerk-offs riding motorcycles. It's still early in the day. This is Shoppers World. Used to be Pathmark, which was a supermarket that doesn't exist no more. And before it was Pathmark, it was Acme. And I worked for Acme for about a month. We had a mutual disagreement and I didn't work there. Where else did I work? That's Shoppers World now. And it's kind of like a Foreman Mills, but with goofier items. Like goofy kitchen items. Foreman Mills is a store down the street. We'll pass it on the way back. And Foreman Mills is like discount clothing, irregular shirts. Yeah, Shoppers World. And then you got the Pretzel Factory. I like the pretzel. It's probably my favorite store on this whole Aramingo Avenue. Actually, it might be true. Look at me, Rick. You alright? Going this way. Yeah, this is the neighborhood I spent the majority of my childhood in. This is Port Richmond. Matter of fact, I was here when this mall opened. No, I don't know if I was here for the ribbon cutting ceremony. But when this mall first opened, this is where the Italian kitchen was. The job I got fired for prank calling. So about 2 years ago, this whole shopping district was looted. So this guy has this wood in his windows, I guess in case of a hurricane or if looting happens. This is a Aramingo jeweler, which I think somebody told me is the longest running store in this shopping mall. Yeah, this is one of the stores that were looted. It was a rent-a center. That's been here for a long time. I remember they used to have mattresses in here at the rent-a-center, and as a kid, me and my friends would run in here and jump on the mattresses and run out. Do that like once a month. I was a nuisance, Rick the puppy. This is the Social Security building. This is where people sit and wait for forms, or I don't know, you just wait. That's what they do. Or, their heart. There we go. This is the old IHOP, this is IHOP. Used to be Babe's Steakhouse. Prestigious restaurant. The big deal when this place opened, it had a glass elevator. The only glass elevator in Port Richmond. Oh man, IHOP, they got some new stickers for the awning. Going down here, this is where Foreman Mills is, or Citizens Bank. Right there, that's the newest store on the Ave. Aldi. There's an Aldi here, right? And then if you go down the block a little bit, there's another store called Lidl. It's called Lidl. I think it's called Lidl, but I say Lidl. And then my favorite comment are people who try to correct how you say something, but they just spell it. And anyway, it doesn't matter. I prefer Lidl over Aldi. Matter of fact, Lidl is now my favorite store. Rick the puppy, I know this is a very controversial take. It's my favorite store in the world. And it's a supermarket, kind of like an Aldi, but a little bit better, I think. And so I like Lidl. Right here we got the AT&T and Division Works passing Checkers. This is one of the only few Checkers I know that's still open. I drive past a lot of them. A lot of the Checkers are closed. I love Checkers French fries, man. Their fries are so good. There used to be a thing me and my kids would do after concerts. Back when they used to need me to go to concerts. After the concerts were over, we would go to Checkers. I'd get a milkshake and French fries. And we got our very first loudspeaker drive-by. It's still, people are still working. Now, I knew you weren't going to stop. I knew you didn't even look this way! Right, Rick the puppy? Uh-oh. This is the old Boston Market. Let's take a picture of the sign before it goes away. And I'm not sure what they're doing here. Looks like they're adding on. Well, maybe this will be a new Raising Cane's. Right? Who knows? I remember when that first opened. Streets Public Storage. I didn't work for Public Storage, but I worked for Extra Space Storage and Smart Stop Storage. It's a pretty miserable job. one of the days I worked, we had an auction, and we auctioned off this dude. We had this one. We opened it up. It had like a washer, a dryer. It had all this musical equipment. And this guy comes in like 3 months after we auctioned off the unit. He was spending time at a local prison, and he gave his girlfriend money to pay his rent, and she didn't do that. And he comes out of prison, he gets all his, dude, it's everything he ever owned, and it was all gone, all of it. And I don't know what prison did to that man, but he took the news so good. He looked at me, he was like, "You sold everything?" I was like, "Yeah." And he looked at her, he said, "But I gave you all the money." She goes, "Oh, I thought I paid that." And I said, "Dude, we mail you letters, we make phone calls. We even put an ad in the newspaper before we sell everything." And he just went, "Okay," and walked right in his car with her. I don't know what he went to jail for the first time, but if he killed her, it's just stuff, though. Tell you the truth, if you have anything in self-storage, like I guess if it's Christmas decorations, I guess I get it. But I know people who have stuff that have like a sofa and a table and a chair from their first apartment, and they moved and they paid that off for like 15 years. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Unless you're going to move into a place within the next year. Oh, Pete, Jesus, kind of flew right into the camera with the puppy. Unless you're going to, be moving somewhere in the next like 12 to 18 months. It ain't worth it. Man, I'm sweating like a pig. Right, the puppy. You don't care. Weird. All right. Crossing the street. No better time to do this than rush hour. Yeah, wait a second, dickhead. Don't you know who we are? What else do we? Penn Jersey Paper. I managed the deli for a bit. I did that. I sort of worked at Walmart with that toy company. I had just a lot of jobs.